Good morning. Nothing exemplifies the perils of doing business in India more than our lead story today. On the face of it, the story is a simple one. Global coal prices have fallen, so the Gujarat government, the Gujarat SEB, has lowered the price that it will pay or the tariff that it will pay to power producers who supply it electricity. In reality, the story is a more complex one. In fact, it's even an older one. It goes back about 7 to 8 years ago. Essentially, these power plants had two choices when they were set up. They could either be using local coal or they could be using imported coal. Local coal in those days was always a problem because Coal India was not able to produce enough. So after looking at which are the countries they could import the coal from, their calorific values, their prices, etc., these power producers decided that they would buy the coal from Indonesia, and they entered into long-term contracts with mines there. Unfortunately for them, at some point the Indonesian government decided the prices were too low and they fixed a minimum export price for coal. So immediately the costs went up dramatically for these power plants and they started making a loss. Now before I get to the main story, there's a little bit of a twist here. In the past, power plants used to be paid a dual tariff. They were paid a fixed charge to take care of the their equipment and setting up the plant and things like that. Normally these are the only things which are actually in their control. As far as the fuel was concerned, whether it was gas or whether it was coal, this was a pass-through. So if the price of the fuel went up, these companies got more money for it. If the prices of the fuel went down, these companies got less money. But for some reason, at that time, the government of India decided that they wanted just one fixed contract, and the fuel price risk was to be taken by the power supplier. So in any case, that was a bad contract, but the people bid. So the Tatas and Adanis and people like that, they bid. Now this is where we come back to our original story. So when the fuel prices went up, these power producers approached the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, the CERC, and they said that you need to hike our power tariffs. So CERC examined the matter and they looked at the tariffs and they looked at the justification given, and they said, we think there's a case for actually increasing the tariff. Plus, as they said, more important, when the Tatas and the Adanis had bid, they were the second bidders, the people who lost the bids. So they said even after the escalation of the prices of the tariff, the Tata Adani power would still cost less than the second bidder had bid. So you would think that would be the end of the matter, and it was fixed. So while the CERC increased the tariffs, unfortunately, the state electricity boards refused to increase the tariffs there. So that left these power producers with big losses. Finally, after a long period of negotiation over 2 years ago, these tariffs were increased. So now once again, with the Gujarat government saying that they're going to reduce the tariffs, these power plants are looking at huge losses. Moving on to COVID, as India reached 8 lakh cases mark later today, there are new hotspots that are emerging as our story points out. For example, Bangalore is one of the hotspots, and Bangalore's infections, if you believe, have risen 24 times in the last 30 days. And unfortunately, Bangalore could go up even more because, as our story points out, that every third person who's tested in Bangalore right now for COVID is testing positive here. So essentially, as the local government starts increasing the testing, as it should, the number of people in Bangalore who will be infected will keep going up. Bangalore, in fact, right now does about a third of the tests that Delhi does, if you look at it in terms of per million population. So essentially, as we saw in the case of Bombay, where a lot of people, died while looking for hospitals which are in short supply, there is an increasing possibility that you might find that happening in some of these new hotspots. This is colossal mismanagement because very few cities, and Delhi and Bombay are included in that, very few cities actually use the time given to them by this series of lockdowns to actually build up capacity or, even more important, to ramp up testing. See, essentially, if India had ramped up testing in a dramatic manner, then they would be able to catch the infections faster. So people would be able to get to the hospital faster, so the fatalities would be low. More important, or equally important, if you were able to detect the infection fast enough, you would be able to quarantine and isolate people, so the chances of the infection spreading would be that much less. As India tries to curb its imports from China, we find an interesting development taking place. We report one of them on our front page today. India's imports from Vietnam are suddenly seeing a surge, as a result of which, from having a surplus with that country, India is now running a deficit with that country. We reported that this happened earlier with Singapore, it's happened with Hong Kong. So essentially we're going to see a lot of the Chinese imports will now start coming in from other countries. They're already coming in via other countries. This will probably increase a lot more. First result this season was that of TCS. Net profits have fallen 13% sequentially, but frankly that's not too bad considering the situation you are in. In fact, TCS's revenues fell just about 4 to 5% sequentially. Let's see how what the rest of the earnings season has in store for us. Our lead column on the edit page, in fact, cautions us about this. It basically says, certainly economic activity in the country is picking up, but don't get too excited by this, recovery, quote unquote. In any case, as we've talked about earlier, the Nomura Business Resumption Index has already fallen in July. So essentially, as the column points out, the government is too broke to give a very big stimulus to the economy. Consumer spending has been slowing for some years now, and investment sentiment has also been falling for a long time before COVID, and COVID dealt it a big blow. So how fast the government of India is able to revive sentiments is not clear. The Prime Minister gave a speech where he talked about how India was laying out the red carpet for investors, but it's early days and we haven't seen too many signs of that, but fingers crossed. Good weekend reading. A book by President Trump's niece, Mary Trump. Mary Trump is a clinical psychologist, and she's talked about Trump's upbringing and used that to explain his mental makeup. As she describes it, he's a child in an adult's body. Now that's frightening it's certainly frightening for the people in America, but it's very frightening for us in India too, because as we all know, President Trump is one of India's big allies in our fight against Chinese aggression. Look forward to a great weekend. Thank you.